This company's never been more profitable.
You mean hugely profitable?
I like it.
DavePorter.com presents The Profitable Cleaner, a podcast on commercial cleaning sales and entrepreneurship. The one podcast that's not afraid to discuss real sales strategies with real cleaning professionals that produce real profits and real results.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Profitable Cleaner podcast. I am super excited for today's show. It's the first ever time that I'm going to call Carolyn a social media influencer that we have on this show. So Carolyn Arellano is our guest today. Hopefully I didn't butcher your last name right there. I was just telling Carolyn before we jumped on that I was nervous to pronounce your last name. But Carolyn, how's it going today?
It's going great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I feel super honored, and you got my name right. It is Carolyn Arellano.
There you go. There we go. We were talking about before we hit record about like the pregame jitters of being a guest and still being a host. And here we are almost 100 episodes in, and it's kind of funny. This is Carolyn and I's first time meeting, and I still get nervous to ask questions and discover the person she is, but I also get excited. So Carolyn, for those that don't know who you are and what you do, please introduce yourself.
Well, everybody, my name is Carolyn Arellano. I own a small business. We do routine janitorial and residential cleaning. I also into the influencing space. So I consider myself a clean influencer. I'm trying to get that one word together. But so what I do is I make educational videos on how to start a cleaning business. And I do a lot of one-on-one mentoring with those that are thinking about starting a cleaning business or already have, but are just stuck at some point in their business and they really just need somebody to bounce ideas off of and learn from. So, yeah.
I love it. I think like I was looking at you online, and number one, your content's great. So we'll definitely link all your socials below and recommend everyone to go follow you. But more than anything, the biggest thing I got from your content is, yes, you speak to cleaning business owners, but more than anything, I think you speak to the person, the business owner themselves, and you have a lot of personal development content and just messaging out there. Let's start there. Like, we'll get into the cleaning stuff.
Awesome.
But like when you started running your business, where did mentorship take a role in your life, and why was that so critical, and why are you such a big champion of it now?
That's a great question, James. So before I started my cleaning business or started to think of starting a business, I had a lot of personal development that had to get done. I wasn't even aware of it. I always knew that I was meant for greatness. I always had that in the back of my mind. I felt it. However, my surroundings, my environment just never equated to that. So it wasn't until I want to say about 5 years ago, I met my very first business mentor. We got talking about me wanting to start a business, and he was like, I think you'd be great at it. I was actually going for my master's degree in international business management. I was kind of in that cycle of just going to school because I didn't know what type of business I wanted to run. So at that point, I had met my first mentor. I dropped out of my master's program because I really was just going to go at this point in my life. And he started to, let me know of all the steps that I had to take as a person before I could go ahead and jump into starting my own business. So he introduced me to some personal development books and audios. So like Bob Proctor played a really big part in my personal development. So I had a lot to learn. My mind was conditioned to know what I only knew, which was poverty, living in the ghetto, all kinds of obstacles, and my life was a mess. However, I did want to make that change, and I started to listen to different audiobooks, and really one of the books that changed my life and my mindset was How to Think and Grow Rich by Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
So I would actually listen to these audios while I was cleaning homes and commercial, or actually even before that. I was listening to these audiobooks. It just kind of like spilled into, I still listened. And I realized right away that, okay, my mindset was, I had a poor mentality, a poor mindset. I only thought that I was capable of doing, what I have already achieved in life. And that's where really mentorship and personal development entered my life and totally changed how I viewed myself and viewed other people. So that was about 5 years ago.
That,
Yeah.
that's interesting because I think a lot of business owners, especially in the cleaning space, like they start a business, mop in a bucket, they start making money, and then all of a sudden they hit this plateau and they're like, okay, I need a coach, I need a mentor. But for you, it almost sounds a little bit like the opposite. You're like, okay, I'm going to get a business mentor and then create a business. And tell me about like knowing that was your journey. And I love how you talked about changing your environment. We're going to get in that here in a little bit. But how critical or how much of an advantage do you feel like it gave you having a mentor right out the gate? And how did that propel your business from
That
day
is
one?
such a great question because I always share that having a mentor, a business mentor from the very beginning, has probably 10x my life, right? Even like just what he taught me on how to set a business up. So I consider myself highly blessed to have had a business mentor from the very get-go. And then as time went on, he does know a lot about business. He's a very smart man, but cleaning is not his forte. So once I realized, okay, I just learned a whole ton of things about business. Now let me start to find mentors within my industry. So that's what I did. I started to reach out to people online that I was watching on YouTube, learning about the cleaning industry, and forcing myself into these spaces and really just putting myself out there. But it was absolutely critical for me. That's why I'm always talking about mentorship because it literally can change your life. I currently have a handful of mentors now, some that I've had from the beginning, some that I pick up along the way, some that are my friends. But having a mentor and somebody to guide you and help you make less mistakes throughout your business lifespan or life in general can just like 10x your life.
I love how you use that word 10x your life and not 10x your business. That we're big believers here on the Profitable Cleaner. Like, you can't have your business outgrow you or your business won't grow. Like, you have to grow individually for your business to grow itself. It's going to follow the path that you follow. And you talk about 10x in your life. I did a little bit of background, just like reading on you. You're a mom, you have the business mentor cleaning program, you have a residential cleaning company that also does janitorial. For everyone listening, we can all relate to being busy, but someone like you, Carolyn, how do you manage it all?
Oh my gosh. Um, So how do I manage it all? Sometimes I don't manage it. And I
Yeah,
need to
that's the
take,
right answer.
to be honest, and I take a 2 or 3 day mental health break every month. But for the most part, I've changed a lot of my habits. So I don't drink. I'm not a frequent drinker like I used to be. I don't smoke as often or as much as I used to. I take care of my health, so I prioritize my health now with going to the gym a couple times a week and eating healthy because as an entrepreneur, we all know that that can just get out of hand really fast with the fast food and just eating on the go. And then also just honestly, recently scheduling myself. So I've never used a calendar to schedule my day, like my actual day, up until maybe 3 months ago. So now I can go onto like my Google Meets calendar and see that, okay, I have a meeting with James at 12 that I have to be ready for. So I definitely use software to just keep me updated with what I have to do. Also, like I said, prioritizing my health and my mental health, taking breaks when I need to. But to be quite honest, I feel like with the mentoring, now I'm back into the startup stage. So I'm back to those 15, 16-hour days.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Business is always evolving, and I think that's what's challenging, but I also think that's what makes us evolve as individuals. Again, the business follows you, you don't follow the business. type of deal. And I was just really impressed with the fact that you could produce so much content and quality content, have a mentorship program, still be a mom, have the family life, and then obviously you have the cleaning side of the business. Let's talk cleaning here for a minute. So you have a lot of experience in residential, you do commercial. I know a lot of people that listen to this show, we're a janitorial podcast, but the reality is there's a lot of business owners that do cleaning owners that do multiple, right? They have a hybrid business of residential with janitorial, or some of them might just have commercial and like utility services like floor care. Talk to me about your setup and how your business is built from a residential and then into the commercial model, and just kind of tell us how your business operates.
Sure. So we did start out 100% residential cleaning, which actually I feel is so much easier when you transition one from the other versus going from commercial to homes, just because the level of difficulty and customer service involved. So we did start out doing homes, which I'm very happy about because it was pretty hard to get into. And then slowly we started to pick up some commercial accounts, but I didn't focus enough on them. I was looking at the big ticket or the cash flow of residential cleaning, meaning we get a deposit, we get paid same day. So I was kind of blinded by those big money signs. So I neglected the residential side of the business that was slowly growing for quite some time. And then, with COVID and everything, the economy just being what it is, I realized, okay, I need sustainability. I need contracts. House cleaning, as many of us know, is a luxury, right? It's a luxury service. So you don't have to have your house clean necessarily, but you do need to have your office clean. So that's where I was like, okay, as much as I love homes, I want to have more of a steady income and not have to spend so much money in ads or have such a high customer acquisition cost. So we started leaning in toward commercial cleaning, which is what we're trying to transition to from right now, is to go full commercial. However, houses just keep calling us, so I won't say no. And then I went I like dived into the cleaning industry. So along with doing the janitorial, I also took a ton of courses through the IICRC. So I wanted to at one point open a restoration company. So I have done many different types of cleaning. So we do carpets and air ducts and windows and janitorial, but I'm also certified to do mold remediation, crime scene cleaning,
Oh, yeah.
um, you know, homes or buildings that have caught on fire. So that I've kept in my back pocket for the day that like I'm gonna make the move. But again, I just knew that I like really enjoyed cleaning and being in this space and meeting with other like-minded entrepreneurs such as yourself, because we don't realize that getting into the cleaning industry, there's so many avenues that can be taken. It's not just cleaning.
No doubt. No doubt. You just hit on, let's talk about this. Okay. So you're speaking my language. You said crime scene cleanup. That's actually how I got into this industry. I've never owned a cleaning business, which is funny because we have a cleaning sales company and then a janitorial podcast. This is the only industry we work in. But years ago, I met an awesome entrepreneur, good client and good friend to this day, that owned an awesome crime scene cleanup industry. And he did mold, all of that. And that was his entryway into janitorial. And so it's kind of funny. You're the opposite here. If you're listening to this and you're wondering about like extreme cleanup, there's some big money out there, big money. What inspired you to like increase? And I want to talk skill set and talk about what you just talked about. What has inspired you to like continue to get like license for like mold remedy and just all of those other services, even if you're not using them right now? Like, talk to me just about investing in your cleaning skill set. I think it's often overlooked in this industry.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm an avid learner and I love to know what's going on. So if somebody's talking anything cleaning, I want to know the language. But most importantly too, because I do really just enjoy, I love to learn. And like many entrepreneurs, I want to do everything, right? So like it started off with somebody asking me to clean their carpets. I took a class just to learn carpet cleaning. But then I noticed that I was in a room full of men that were talking about other types of cleans and, money doing this. So I bought a carpet cleaning machine, started cleaning carpets. One of my mentors does air duct cleaning. So he taught me how to do air duct cleaning. I got certified by NADCA and we do air duct cleaning. But some of those skill sets, even though I'm not currently using them, I do feel as though they will be valuable to me in the future, whether I decide to go ahead and open a restoration business or if I just want to teach on the subject, right? So I like to be in the know. And I mean, who knows? Maybe I was doing this whole time just to set me up for what's happening now with the mentoring business. I can't really explain why, other than I just really like to learn.
Absolutely, man. That's how God works in our life, right? He puts these people and things in place, and then we have to figure out how to utilize them. So I love that. I want to talk about something totally random here, but I'm hearing like I'm still amazed with how like you manage everything. I want to talk about delegation because as awesome as Carolyn is, and as much as you do, you can't do it alone at a certain point. And I think a lot of owner operators, especially in the cleaning realm, try to build a business around themselves, and then you hit the ceiling and you realize it's not about me; it's actually about my team. Talk to me about your team. Talk to me about delegation, trials, tribulations. Just like what comes to mind when you hear those words.
So it took quite some time for me to learn how to delegate my work. Even as far back as when I was solo cleaning, I thought that, no one would want anybody but me. And I think that was the first step that I took into delegating, was learning how to train people to clean like myself. But even after that
Mm-hmm.
step, when I was in the back office now working on the business, finding more clients, I didn't want to let go of those tasks. And it definitely held me back and it held my business back, probably like, I don't know how many months, maybe years worth, because I always felt like no one can do it better than me. I was afraid to let my employees make mistakes and learn. And it got to a point where I was just so overwhelmed and stressed out because I was wearing so many hats that I kept considering just like quitting. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is too much. And I was like, you know what? Let me take a break and figure out who I can give some of these tasks to. And I would do it, give somebody a task. And little by little, I started to give my employees more work. I hired someone to answer the phones, somebody to help me, schedule my team. So like now, and again, I was transitioning like I would say like the last 8 months have been the most delegation that I've been doing. I see such a huge improvement. Just like in my quality of life, right? I have more time to be a mom. I have more time to work on my passion project, which is the cleaning, the mentoring. Um, and people are actually really good at their jobs if you just give them a chance to learn. So that was
Yeah.
something new to me. And like getting all my SOPs together, that was something I hadn't done.
Mm.
So it took me a while. So I got all my SOPs together and then I started to delegate the work. And I'm telling you, it's changed my life for sure.
Let's talk about that. You just hit on something big. Man, our business goes through this. I feel like time and time again is SOPs. For those of you listening that might not know what an SOP is, and I know many of you do, it's standard operating procedures. And I neglected it. I ran a business for 5 years and actually sold that business, and it had zero SOPs in place. So like I had like these horrible bad habits that have like led to like leaked into this business, right? And now it's like we have to scale, we have to get organized. Talk to me about your SOP process and actually starting that. If someone's like, man, okay, I know I have procedures in place, a lot of it's in my head, maybe my manager knows it. How'd you start documenting that? How'd you roll it out to your team? And like, how do you hold people
Yeah,
accountable
absolutely.
to it?
So I started to use Asana, which is a lot like Monday. They have other platforms like that. So I started to use Asana and I started to write down everything that each position would do. So if it was a lead cleaning technician, what their responsibilities were, and exactly how to do that. So I would make an individual card for each task. So recently we just hired someone in the back office to answer the phones. And of course, I had no SOPs, just like you, almost 5 years. And I didn't write down the instructions. I had to do that. So I opened up my Asana board and I started to make cards for each and every step, how to log into AirCall, how to add a client. And I even started to incorporate videos. So I have videos that I'll record myself actually doing the task. And then I'll also in that card write out step by step. So my employees will have a visual as well as the steps. And you do that for everything, for every position that you have in your company. So if you want someone to pack the bags before clean, you have to explain what goes in the bag, what has to be there. And it really just helps keeping your employees accountable, because too many times I've made a mistake where I've allowed my employees to fail, and it was because I didn't give a clear explanation.
Totally. No doubt about that. And then we're quick to blame the employee, but then it's like, no, actually, this is on me because I failed to communicate, because I expect you to somehow know what's going on in my head. I'm just thinking out loud right now, just kind of podcaster to podcaster. You should create an entire round of content around how you created SOPs through Asana. We use Asana as well, and it's been awesome for us so far. But I want to encourage any business or cleaning owner right now listening to ask yourself if you've actually processed everything within your business that an employee handles. And like you said, every little step, to over detail and over communicate in those SOPs is huge. What type of a response have you got with adding the videos and the visuals to it? Have you gotten any feedback?
Oh yeah, for
from your
sure.
team?
So I do it with our cleaning technicians. So not only do we explain the products and how to clean and they get that hands on, but we also have the video for them. So, this is how you spray a toilet down. You use, paper towel, not this, make sure to get the back. And they love it. And the same thing for our back office. If anyone has a question oh, hey, I forgot how to create a quote in Jobber, for example. I'll say, okay, well, if you check the Asana board under, Jobber, there's a card there for you. So they really love it because they actually get to see it. They can hit pause, they can play it back. And I found that for me personally, learning with a visual along with written instructions really has helped.
No doubt. I'm just curious because I think a lot of cleaning owners are okay, yeah, I know I need to do A, B, and C. I just don't have time. I don't have time. Talk to me about the time you put into it and how much time it saved you. And I know the answer to this. Was it worth the pain of taking 8 hours or however long it took you to just sit at your computer, not answer your phone, and drill it out? Just talk to me about the actual process of implementing
So
it.
the actual process, I went into actually my office one day. I was tired of, like I said, having my employees fail and that falling back on me. So I closed myself in my office and I wrote down in my notebook every task for each one of my employees. And then that list actually turned into a sub task list, because then you start to think and you're like, oh, wait, you have to open the app. Then you have to add the customer. Then you have to ask these questions. So it did take a lot of time. I want to say 8-hour days, maybe 4 of them. So it did take me maybe 32 hours to actually put the work in. But it has been worth it. And it's a really great investment because I'm never going to have to do it again unless there's a new platform or some kind of new, technique that we're doing. But it's definitely worth it. And I know for a fact that it's going to save me tons of time in regards to, having to train people and customer complaints.
Talk to me about customer complaints. So actually, I'm going to tee up a good story that I learned about you and a customer complaint. You have a video on YouTube talking about the importance of being insured. And really though, I was oh, this is interesting. I'm going to click this video. And yeah, you talk about insurance, but what I got about from it was there was a client. You guys broke a microwave. I'll let you tell the story. But the key thing that came out of it was you guys hopped on it. You took full ownership. You didn't try to blame the client. You didn't try to figure out who was right, who was wrong. and that was a customer complaint, and you put out that fire and you did it really well, and then you documented it on YouTube. Maybe take us through that story and just take us through how you handle fires in your business.
So I have learned early on from my business mentor to be proactive. So I am naturally a nervous person. I get anxiety, I'm nervous, I don't like confrontation. So the very first mistakes in my cleaning business that, maybe we broke an item or something like that, I went into full panic mode, like sweating, didn't know what to do. It was the end of the world. And luckily my business mentor was like, relax, like you cannot run a business like this. If every time something goes wrong and you panic, he's like, we have to figure out a solution. There is a solution to everything. And that day I learned, to be proactive. So for example, with the microwave, whether she was a client of ours for like years or not, it wouldn't have made a difference. However, she was someone that's been with us for over 5 years. But even if she was new, I would have handled the situation the same. So one of my employees broke a microwave. I think he might have pulled too hard on the front of the microwave. I'm not sure, but it was clearly broken. So as soon as she sent me the photo, the very first thing that I did and that I learned through my mentor is to find the item before they even know that it's broken, somehow replace it, right? We're in 2023 where you can Amazon Prime something the next day. So I went and I had my employee, I said, please send me the SKU number, or I asked the client at this point, I said, can you please send me the SKU number or receipt if you have it? And she sent me the receipt. So I was able to pull the microwave up on bestbuy.com. I ordered it for her. I even got the delivery service to take the old one out, put the new one in, and she had her microwave, the receipt for the delivery, like within 10 minutes of her sending me that email, because I now know that if something breaks, jump onto Amazon, go on Best Buy, find that item for as least possible as you can. If you don't necessarily have to go through your insurance, don't, because it can raise your premium. So depending on your deductible, you can say, okay, if it's like a $40, $50 item, I'll replace it. And that's what we do. We've, accidentally broken lamps. We've broken salt shakers. We've broken grandma's favorite mug. And we replace it before we even have an opportunity for our customer to find out. So we'll Amazon it to your house, apologize and make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it's called extreme ownership. And I think that's what the best business owners possess. And there's fires left and right, especially in the cleaning world. And I think if you take that proactive response that you're talking about, then clients appreciate that right off the bat. Like one of my favorite clients, like when he gets inside of a commercial facility and he's talking to the facility director and he goes after large scale deals, one of the first things he says to a facility director is, hey, listen, Bob, we're going to mess up. I like, just know that right off the bat, we're going to mess up at some point. Just know that we're going to pick up the phone and figure it out for you. And people might say, why would you say that like in a walkthrough? It's because that's real. Like we're all going to mess up, and it's about how you handle it and the ownership you take. So I absolutely love that approach. And that video like kind of caught me off guard. I was like, yeah, we're talking about a microwave, but really we're talking about ownership here. So talk to me about what else you got going on. You got Clean Biz Network. You got obviously your mentorship program. Just talk to us. Is it Clean Biz? Is it the Clean Biz Network conference?
Sure.
Talk to me about the video.
I'm going to be speaking at the Clean Biz Network conference in Jacksonville, Florida in June with one of my mentors, actually, AJ Simmons. Many of us know him in the cleaning industry at AJ Simmons Online. So he was one of my mentors that I ended up connecting with. I actually used to watch his videos like way back when. And those were one of the people that I reached out to, like, hey, like, do you want to maybe like get on a call and do all this stuff? And eventually it led to mentorship and a friendship. So that was pretty neat. So I'm going to be speaking at his event in June. I also have some really cool stuff coming out with Route and the Rosalato family. So that we'll be talking about in about a week from now. So also what's going on? I just submitted my paperwork for the ZenMade conference that's coming up. So that was really exciting. And yeah, I'm just trying to do like as much networking as possible, just because I learned that learning from other people is just the way to go. And it's very motivating. Like, I'm always inspired. Like, when I connected with you guys, I'm like, oh my God, this is so great. Like, I love this. I got to keep on working.
Well, we appreciate it. Yeah, no doubt. We appreciate what you're doing for the industry, and you're connected to some good names like Ricky and all of them. Two last questions for you here. One's going to be a professional question, and one's going to be kind of fun. The professional question. Let's end this debate right now today. Residential versus commercial, residential and commercial. Talk to us about the pros and cons of both, the differences, and yeah, just give me your thoughts. Someone that's so entrenched into both worlds. I know there's some people that juggle both. I know there's some commercial folks out there that are like, screw residential, and residential is like, screw commercial.
It's a big debate, yeah.
It's a debate. So give me your thoughts on
So residential,
on the debate.
I would say, is great to when you're first starting out in business because there's a very quick cash flow. So you get paid on the spot. And it is tougher in regards to the scope of work and the customer service. So if you can get into residential, then commercial will be a walk in the park. So that's number one. The cash flow residential is amazing. However, the lifespan of a customer is not very long. We do have some clients that we've been servicing for 5 years plus, but it's not more than, like 20, because people's income changes. Now with commercial cleaning, which I love and we're leaning more towards, is that you have contracts in place. So each account you have for guaranteed, guaranteed meaning you're doing a good job, but you have for 12 months at a time. And we also have some commercial cleaning clients that we've had for 5 years plus. For me, I just love commercial because you can go in and out, at night. No one's watching you or bothering you on how to clean. But then you do have the downside of waiting for that net 30. So if you're if you're like transitioning, what I would say is residential is great for cash flow, but definitely don't neglect the commercial. I would try to go ahead and get as many commercial accounts as you can where you'll have your team steady, where you can slowly let the residential side of cleaning go. If you've mastered residential as far as marketing and your pricing, because I know a lot of cleaning business owners who are just doing residential and they're great at it, then stick with it. Just know that it's going to be a lot of customer service and a lot of more team management, because with commercial, you can contract a lot of the work out and not have to worry so much about somebody's garbage can not getting emptied.
No doubt. And the sales approach is
absolutely,
way
yeah.
different.
As I mentioned, the cost of acquisition for a residential client is very high. So you might land that $40 phone call or, that $10 click, but it only might be for a move-in clean or a move-out clean or a special occasion. And then you might never touch that client again. With commercial, you have them for a while and then you can always upsell to them. So I would say commercial, but for cash flow, for cash flow purposes, residential cleaning.
Okay, there we go. From the cleaning guru herself, you heard it here. Listen, if you're out there and you're hustling and you're making impact and you're making money and you're providing jobs for other people and you're doing good work, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. Whether that's cleaning, restoration, residential, commercial, to me, it's like, hey, if you're providing value and you're a good person and you're doing good for the community around you, then hell yeah, that's ultimately what matters. So, all right, final and last question. We have this white box here. I held this up once. People were like, is that a pack of cigarettes? Like, no, it's not. I have this white box here. Random questions. I have no idea what's in it. Once we ask the question, we throw the card away. So are you willing to answer whatever question comes out of it? Okay, cool. Oh my gosh, I can't do that one. I'll tell you why once we once we stop recording here. All right, here, this is good. This plays into the kind of the motto today. Share a time-saving tip.
A time-saving tip. Hire help. Okay, don't be like me. Learn how to build websites. It'll take you a long time. Learning how to edit videos, all that stuff can be delegated. Delegate, and hire.
Awesome. That's great. Buy back your
Absolutely.
time,
Even with the household
delegate.
items, right? So like I get my groceries delivered. I have my team clean my home now, which was just started doing because I figured, hello, I have a cleaning business, I know how to do it. But buy your time back. So if it's an investment where you can spend more time on your business or spend more time with your family, just by simply having somebody else do it, go that route.
I love it. Carolyn, where can people find you? We'll link everything below,
Absolutely. So
so you
I
don't have to
I
like
am mostly,
slowly.
or I'm more active on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on my website, Twitter, just about everywhere. But yeah, just check the description down below.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carolyn. And we'll have to do a round
Absolutely.
two
Thank
with
you guys
Angel
for
on the
having
call.
me. It was an absolute pleasure.